Shannon Griffith from Hoosier Tailgate with us as he is each Thursday. And today is the day for Indiana and Curt Cignetti's first practice, official practice with the Hoosiers. He will speak to the media afterwards. So it'll be interesting to see what he had to say. I tried to work it out to be out there, but that's just too hard. I can't watch practice if I'm doing the show, unfortunately. So we'll have to figure out how to make that happen. But because I definitely want to make sure to get out there. But how important is this first day in front of the media and this first day with the players? Just the whole everything that goes around, because this is not a normal first day.
Mm-mm.
This is a first day in 8 years now that's got a new face with the bullhorn or whatever mechanism he's going to use to be heard. I don't know that he'll need a mechanism. But how you, former coach,
yeah,
how important is this day?
Well, when you described it being Christmas Thursday, I thought you were referencing to the start of spring football.
Yeah, right? I thought you might.
but today it's an important day. Is that it's the first time that the coaches really get the kids out on the field, no distractions for the next 2.5, 3 hours, and really start implementing their philosophical approach to a practice. There may be stops and starts today just from the standpoint that they don't like the way they're moving between drills, because I know Coach Cignetti talks about a lot of movement in his practices. And if they're not giving him what he thinks they need to be giving him, he's going to start and stop. Now, I always find it interesting that the media wants to talk to the coach right after the very first practice of spring ball, where there is absolutely no pads on. What do you see out there? Well, I don't know. We're not in pads. That's the thing that I'm not sure you're going to get a lot of great feedback today on anything other than maybe how he describes how he thought the first practice went and how it pertains to his overall philosophy, blueprint, things that he has talked about leading up to today.
Yeah, it'll just be now's the implementation of everything, and they're behind sort of. You've got obviously a brand new system that you're implementing, but this is not like it's the first day that they've been in communication with the player. Right. So they've been working behind the scenes. Studying, but it's time to actually turn the machine on and watch the parts move and get them to start moving in concert with each other, and with a lot of new faces out there. So, but it's going, and new quarterback and new quarterbacks, I should say.
Make that plural.
Lots of those guys, and they're not done there with more coming. So there's just so much to look forward to seeing it and seeing it go through. So I think people are going to be surprised with the offense. I without even seeing it, I was able to watch O'Rourke throw to some guys during the pro day. And I remember I looked out, somebody pointed him out to me, and I said, "You talk about that tight end looking dude, big old guy." Yeah. So he's got good size on him, which Indiana will probably cherish this first season. But like I've said before, I think things are set up for Indiana, and I think the excitement level is, especially with right now, there's still the attention is on football or on basketball, rather, my bad. Because now, even though the season's over, the tournament's starting, but it's the big the look for Indiana fans is the transfer portal. Who's coming and who are they going to get? And there's a lot of attention there. But this fall, I really believe that there is going to be a surprising amount of support in that stadium.
Well, there will be, and you talked about today with all the new bodies that are going to take the field. The biggest thing that they'll, outside of stressing how they run a practice, will be communication. That's the big thing today, because you've got two coordinators that are new, and there's different ways that they communicate things on the field, from how they call a play, personnel groupings. So those will all be foreign to everybody out there. And at the end of the day, if I'm one of the players that's a part of this spring practice, I got to feel like I've got a pretty good chance of competing to be in the top 22, because it's a whole new regime and it's a whole new fresh start for a lot of people. So, quarterback position, yes, highly contested. You got the wide receiver spot that's going to be interesting to see what skill they have there. Do they have somebody that can actually get down the field? And then, of course, the running back position. Now, they're a little light on the defensive line, which I'm sure is a pretty big concern going into spring, because the last thing they need to have happen is somebody get hurt. Yeah, it's an exciting time for Indiana football, exciting time for today. I know that, like you said about Rourke throwing during pro day, I found a nickname that he had at OU. And he's from Canada. They called him the Maple Missile. So I don't know if that'll stick here in Bloomington, but yeah.
Hey, that's funny, because I already nicknamed Alberto Mendoza the Cuban Missile.
Yeah, he's the only quarterback that's not here, and I'm sure in some ways it's eating at him today down there in the great state of Florida that he's not here or able to.
So we'll have the Maple and the Cuban Missile.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, you'll just need to fill the rest of it out. But yeah, I think today, the communicational aspect of things, how they run a practice, this is where the JMU guys can be a big benefit to everybody on the field, because they know the tempo and expectation and communication. And your day one installation as it pertains to offense and defense will take place today, which will be, what are the base plays that you're going to run no matter what, and formations and things of that magnitude.
Yeah, and so they only have, most coaches value these spring days like it's life and death.
Absolutely.
Cignetti is not acted that way, which is shocking. And I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. I'm just pointing it out, because he seems so I don't want to say micro, but he's on top of it, and he's at it. I'm very interested to see what a practice is like with him, and to see how they're run, to see how he is. One thing is going to be different, and it's going to be a welcome different. Now, during practices like this before, Tom Allen, he had that same energy. He was running around like he had 8 pots of coffee before. And I mean, he was the most energetic guy on the field. I'll give you that. But I don't think the head coach has to be the most energetic guy on the field. Actually, I think he should probably be the least. He should be the most focused guy on the field. And so I'm just interested in seeing that. And that really, and I want to see that, because that leads to that. That's how you're going to be during a game. And that's one of the, again, everybody, we all love Tom Allen, but that's one of the knocks that I had against him, is his emotions were the same. He was always way too high during games, and he was always in the moment instead of being 2 steps ahead, which is where a head coach needs to be: calm, relaxed, thinking. Boom, where are we? What are we looking at? What's situation? And I think Cignetti is definitely one of those types.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bit surprising to me to see, the energy has to come from the kids and the assistant coaches that are coaching their position groups. And I don't think that's going to be a problem with guys like Coach Kuntz and, you name it, right down the road. But I could see that, Coach Cignetti is going to be taking a lot of notes today and talking about things to his coaches, what he liked, what he didn't like. There's big things in coaching that you say you're either coaching it or allowing it to happen. And so you'll be going around to see, are we teaching the correct fundamentals? Is the techniques the ones that we want to be utilizing in the different position groups? And most importantly, is the group organized in a fashion that high intensity and reps are occurring no matter what period you're in? So you're correct, probably in the sense that Coach Cignetti will be a little bit more, I guess you say down to earth in some respects during his practices, and more of a CEO type of head coach where he's, taking the notes, correcting the correctables that he sees, and he takes an active interest in the quarterback position. So he'll be hanging with those guys quite a bit.
Yeah, and looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to the all of the other coaches, because it's an entire new staff. Mm-hmm. And that is another thing we haven't seen in 7 years is all new faces. And I will point this out, complete opposite of what happened with the basketball program, and a new coach that came in and kept the old staff, which I'm still trying to figure that one out. But regardless of that, the staff he has, they've been together for a long time, man.
Yeah, the vast majority of them. And, that's the beauty of this day, is that they understand how this practice is going to run, because they've been around Coach Cignetti for some time. They know what to expect. They know what's expected out of them. When I was coaching and involved in, the Division I level, I loved spring ball, because you weren't in a sense getting ready for any games. You had a time to really take time to teach technique, to give kids the opportunity to show what they could do or can't do. And at the end of the day, like I said last week, I think when we talked about this, these coaches will grade every film, and every time that they have an opportunity to get more or less a dossier on each kid in their position group. So at the end of the spring,
dossier.
Yeah, I like that big term. At the end of spring, they will be able to have a true heart-to-heart with their player individually, one-on-one, as will Coach Cignetti. Will get a copy of that when he has his exit meetings with all his players to talk about where he sees this kid, in the next year, what their plans are, and things of that magnitude, which ultimately may lead to some kids jumping in the portal because maybe they don't see them being someone that's going to be able to play right away for them.
Yeah, that's another thing that we don't know. Will there be any more additions? Via the portal, and losses via the portal after spring practice? What changes come about? So are you anticipating much change there?
Well, from the standpoint of what they're going to look for, they're going to definitely look for D linemen. I think that's where they are the thinnest in all their positions. And I don't think it's a critical being thin at that position, but you lose a kid that was a player for you a year ago, is it Blindy? And so now you've got to replace that. And I think they'll look in the portal for that. Now, as it pertains to the kids that are under your watch right now, I think you're going to lose a few. I don't know how the quarterback position shakes out, but I'd be surprised if Brock Lowry is not in the forefront of the race or in that top two category. He may look, but it's such an unknown right now with this portal and multi-year transfers. And
don't forget about David Jackson as well.
Well, yeah.
I mean, how are they going to keep all these guys? First of all, there's no way. They've got like 14 quarterbacks in the bullpen, man. That's what are there 4 on campus right now?
Well, there's 4 with guys that are scholarship quarterbacks, not including any of the other walk-ons, which I do believe they have 2 or 3.
So that means they've got only 3 scholarship guys on campus with Alberto not here yet.
Yeah, well, you got Taven, Brock Lowry's a scholarship. You got Tyler Cherry, and then of course Rourke, who came via transfer. Those are the 4 scholarship quarterbacks. And then you have a few other kids that are there in the walk-on category that provide extra arms. You can never have enough arms. Let me say that right now, because of the number of kids that you have out on the field, especially like at the wide receiver position, which is a full room. So when you talk about drills and things of that magnitude, you surely don't want to have, your top quarterbacks throwing all the time and develop arm issues. So, but I do believe that there is a possibility that you could see a quarterback or 2 looking into the portal. The problem with that as a quarterback, you're most definitely probably looking at a MAC level or below opportunity, because I doubt that it's going to lead to some other major program at this point in time, because they've already solidified those positions by now.
What is the biggest thing that comes out of this spring practice for Indiana?
Well, one, I think the number one thing is that you'll have a sense of who is going to be at the front of the line heading into camp, without maybe there being an overall big announcement, especially at the quarterback position. But I think the biggest thing that Coach Cignetti wants out of this camp is for the young men to understand what fast, physical, and relentless is, and how that applies to each and every player, each and every position, and the blueprint that he is in the process of implementing today, all the way through the summer up till that first game next fall.